3, so that's true. But if they can stomp out Game Talents here, that would solidify that for the week.
For sure. In terms of the pecking order, it should be easier to take out a team like GT when you've already gone against the top. But you already have those games that you could refer to as trap games where the top of the league is just like, we'll just troll this game. Well, not necessarily troll, but not take the same approach to it or not the same preparation, and then you start losing games and you just accidentally lose a series. But we are in a best of 3 here, so it's a little harder to do so. First Dragon will be Inferno as we head into our final series of the day. NewBee and GT. Week 3, day 3.
That's the map saying, you know what, this game's fire. Let's go in here.
I was waiting for it. We haven't heard it just yet from you, Raz, but I knew you had to bring it out at some point.
At some point.
And, I mean, nothing fire has happened just yet. Apart from the Infernal Dragons. So.
Except for maybe the chocolate tea that I'm about to pour in here.
How was that, by the way? I forgot to ask.
It's okay. Definitely not enough chocolate. But
You've not had a good day in terms of consumables. You had that terrible candy earlier, which
I just don't
you
like.
Just like, I need to go. I need to run out of the room.
I actually had to spit that on the sink. I just do not like black licorice. Don't put that into a candy flavor. Don't do that to me.
There you have it. All manufacturing companies of candy across the world. You heard it here. Stop manufacturing it. Raz doesn't like it. That means no one can like it.
New business model.
Here comes GameGoon and Xiaoyu into the top lane. And V going to back away. Didn't manage to take out the ward in time. And look at the pings. There are many pings. That's at least 3 people pinging the fact that there are GT members in that jungle. It's like, yes, we did get the picture.
This is really late from Game Talents, though. They're starting this really late, which means GameGoon's going to get to the lane late. He's going to have a little bit of trouble. I mean, it's going up against Poppy, so it's not that bad. But what this does mean is that he's going to be able to snatch up the Raptors. Ooh,
Soulmate's just going to walk towards more on LWX, but that was probably, I think he went a little too far forward. Zubin was just like, look, I'm just trying to farm the lane.
Yeah.
Don't take an arrow to the face like you just did from LWX.
They definitely kited out that fairly well. And I mean, Xiaoyu, he actually got the rough end of this trade. Mostly because not only did Jace come into the lane a little late, I mean, he's going to still be fine here in this matchup. But also because Rumble's going to be able to get this Raptors camp as well. And so they just traded it out. Okay.
Look at that fan
Wait
vote.
a minute.
What?
Hold on just a second.
Is this the wrong way around?
Who voted in this poll?
They have a lot of fans apparently. Everyone loves GameGoon. I wish we had Frostgoon because you'd probably be able to tell us that apparently some players won like a fashion contest. It's just all the fans are flooding in.
That would be a reason. That'd be a good reason.
Wow.
You know what? God bless them.
That's got to be a fan, but you know, it's just like because they like the players. Just not a snowball's chance in hell. That's because they think they're actually going to win the series.
Maybe it's because Cool got subbed out. Maybe the fans flooded off to the opposite direction.
There you go, yeah. They've all just jumped ship. Yeah, Cool was a big benefactor of a lot of fan votes, so that could have been the case.
And here's the thing I like about I mean, we didn't mention it, but we actually see GameGoon with Thunderlords, I believe. I did see him get that proc on the top side of the map. So we're seeing a Thunderlords on Jace instead of the outright Fervor. And so that's fair for the most part because it actually just makes V's life a little harder in terms of the burst. The 3 procs coming from GameGoon just hurts a little bit more. So it's better for the laning phase. It's going to be harder when he actually goes into the later portion of the game and actually start to look to bully it out.
I do like it though. I want to see GameGoon get a good start to the game because he is that member who will have to try and make things happen for GT if they do want to win this game and tell that the fans were right in this one. So that's what we need to see from that lineup. Meanwhile, NewBee just seem strong across the board. They have this mid lane Syndra, of course. Jungle, a couple question marks over, just because we haven't seen a lot of success on Rumble, but I have full faith in Swift that he can make this work. Yeah,
and overall, both of these junglers are going to actually just look to farm it out. For the most part, Xiaoyu has 2 options. Recognize that Rumble's going to do it and look to aggress onto him. It's going to be very hard, especially since Syndra has a lot of the ability to just walk in there and make it hard. And on top of that, Mord taking a lot of hurt, but Mord and LWX will have a lot of priority in this bottom lane, so they can actually look to bully out Xiaoyu if that does happen. So I expect Xiaoyu to actually just go back and get a Tiamat and just farm up as well. So for the most part, both junglers should not be active on the map and should just be upkeeping vision.
Yeah, interacting with those lanes not so much. Jubin taking so much damage in that bottom lane, and this is quite a brutal combination in here from NewBee. So pushing that lane in, mid lane getting pushed in. Coco last auto attack onto Republic as well. So all these lanes, maybe not represented so much in CS just yet, but in terms of pressure, definitely getting it down.
Yeah, but Corki and Zubin on the Jhin are going to be just fine, mostly because the mana advantage is in Zubin's favor, and Republic can actually continue to trade forward. He has mana as well. Meanwhile, Coco and LWX used a lot of mana to be able to get those trades going forward. So they're not in too bad of a situation. In fact, LWX
It's been caught out once
Ooh,
again.
way to
That's
go.
so much damage in from these Voidlingers and the Malefic Visions. More will turn around with the damage onto Soulmate. So yes, a lot returns. Zubin tanks up that piercing arrow from LWX. There's actually both lanes that are in a precarious situation now.
Yeah, but Game Talent should be in a safer spot as long as they don't get poked down. I mean, that's a big asterisk there. With that being said, Swift sees an opportunity to gank Coco. No, I mean Gimgoon. Why did I think Coco? I always think of Coco.
You have Swift in top lane, and those two basically go hand in hand, so I can see it.
Oh, here
he
we
has
go.
one opportunity and two Electro Harpoons. He follows up with the damage onto Gimbung, and he'll slap him away with his E.
Oh.
Meanwhile, it's bot lane looking for the knockup. Preemptive flash for more, but the double knockup from Xiaoyu could result in a kill here for GT. Flashes forwards, one more auto attack, another one. He needs it to land. There it is, the big crit. The kill in return not going to happen. What an exhaust from Soulmate. That was the sole reason why they got that 1 for 0.
Yeah, that exhaust was really timely because LWX was like, why is my auto not coming out at the exact time I needed it? And meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Swift just doesn't pay attention to the wave coming in. He can predict or at least recognize when the wave is coming in, but he ganks at such a tough time. His E is not going to be coming in, so the Electro Harpoon is not going to be helping out in the gank at all. That just meant Gimgoon's going to be able to leave without even using Flash. So bottom lane of NewBee actually in such a rough spot. Both used all of their sums and still died from it.
I mean, that is a summonerless bot lane from both sides, actually. Everything was drawing there. And Xiaoyu did also use his flash, but still, a kill is a kill, and that will accelerate the bot lane there for GT, which is nice to see. And that went over to Zubin.
Yeah, and overall, just looking at what does it mean, it shouldn't mean too more. Hello?
Did you know someone's on the way? That will be a lock up there from Zubin as he runs after, lands the auto attack, and that's just another kill over to Zubin. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what's going on there, but Swift has now arrived. He'll melt the face off of Xiaoyu before he comes in for the second kill over to Zubin. So yes, he got the kill, but it's a 2-for-1 bargain deal over to NewBee.
Yeah, that has to be just a common mistake from GT. You have to get all your players in there, especially if you're going in for a pick on Moore. It's not only going to be Moore who's responding. So Swift recognized that he's going to be there on time with Coco. The duo just gets there first, and they're able to get the response kill. So overall, really great pick from Swift, and recognized a good play when he sees them.
Oh, misses the Scatter the Weak combo with the Dark Sphere. Top lane, V slightly off on the timing with Steadfast Presence, so Gimgoon gets the harass down, but still a very even lane, has not really opened up into anything just yet. It's really the rest of the map that's starting to brawl.
But yeah, just going straight way back for Zubin and Soulmate. This, even though they got the kill, it shouldn't mean too much. In fact, all it really meant is that they maybe had an edge in terms of just skirmishing. That being said, Gimgoon, go in there!
It's the combo. Was thinking about going through the gate, but he has no mana.
Yep.
So there was nothing he could really do about that. If he had more mana, it may have been a flash burnt from V, but all in all, shoves him into his tower and hopes to open up that CS advantage. This mid lane, though, that's under attack. Coco has to flash away and return some damage. He has the blue buff, so he's got to be a little bit careful.
Oh,
no one
where'd
needs
that come
power. Equalizer down from Swift, but there's no kill. There's no CC for now, so it's just the counter gank in the mid lane.
And that was a very effective one. Republic has to go back to base, which means we're just back at square one, where game talents in the mid lane will get shoved out, and they're in a really tough position. I mean, now Republic's going to come back with a little bit of strength, but in the bottom lane, Zubin and Soulmate are just still getting poked out, even though Zubin has a kill lead. We've seen this before. He's in a tough lane. Doesn't matter if he has that kill lead. He has to be able to actually use that across the map. There's no position for him to do that.
For sure. So now NewBee, a kill on both Swift and Coco. Probably the best people to have it at this stage in the game. Top lane still being shoved in. Gimgoon got a bit of that mana back, but he will still want to go back to base at some point. You see GT all rotating towards the top lane. Swift coming in as well.
Yeah, this is perfect timing for game talents right now. Not only is Gimgoon strong, but here we go.
Slapped right into Republic, but that's a big shield from Courage of the Colossus, and Swift is there trying to protect him. He'll go into the overdrive right now as Coco comes up here as well for the 1-for-1.
And immediately they disown him. It's like, Republic, you're on your own. You didn't wait for the jungler. You're done here, son. It really was a great position for Baytowns. They actually could have taken that 3v3 because of how low V was and completely pushed them off. But they went in because they really wanted that kill. So overall, that was just impatient from Game Talents, and they just trade a kill over. I mean, this is great for Gimgoon because he gets an assist. He's still free. Yep. He comes back into a better lane for himself. But you don't want Coco on Syndra with 2 kills and a CS advantage.
No, that just spells doom for anyone who isn't just going for straight health like outside of Xiao Yu. So everyone else is an easy target for him to blow up as we approach that mid game, hitting that 1-item power spike. And V, he just needs to keep on farming, you know, in the top lane. He doesn't need to do anything special because the rest of the team in really good shape. Yeah, and it comes down to what play actually changes the situation, right? Sure, Gimgoon gets a lead. That doesn't change the situation. Poppy is still going to remain in this lane. It's not going to die. It would be a surprise to me if Poppy somehow finds a way to die in this matchup. I mean, it's a tough one, but V knows how to absorb pressure. And so you look to the mid lane, that's actually a matchup where Republic should have been safe, but it's very tough for him now. More protecting the minions, but doesn't want to protect them too much as LWX gets some damage onto that tower. Swift is waiting here for either a red respawn or just a pick, actually, as Coco is coming down. Yeah, they're committing to this. This is actually a situation where Game Talents have to completely back away from this turn and give it away. There is no way for them to keep it firm. They need to push mid instead. So early tower going over to this lane. They knew it was going to be hard already with this Varus into Jhin. He'll get that nice 650 gold over to him, which is really big now at just 11 minutes. And converting into a Fire Dragon could be really good for them. Yeah, I mean, it just comes down to, ooh, Xiao Yu. Xiao Yu caught out. He's fairly tanky. He's not within kill range just yet of Coco. So even though it's a 2k gold lead, right? And theoretically, Jhin is in a pretty decent position. Same with Jace. It doesn't change their situation. What it changes is that NewBee actually has such a much larger lead because of how strong Coco currently is. Coco's going incredibly hard right now, and on top of that, you look at Swift, and Swift is actually farming himself quite well. Has a lot of armor penetration going forward. He just has that magic pen boots, but that's all you need. You can expect for him to actually back away after taking 2 more camps, and he can finish up his jungle item as well. It's good that Xiao Yu's actually sneaking this because he really does need to do that. That'll be really nice for GT to actually just take this one away. Game Talents will really benefit from this pick-off. Yeah, he's on the wreck side. It's gonna take a long time. Yeah, I was actually going to say, it will take a long time, but if anyone happens to walk past, he's dead. Yeah, no one would walk past this situation. Except Moore comes in. He comes in with the ultimate. Xiao Yu get over the wall, and just in time he smites it away. Whew. So, split second there, and that was very scary. Yeah, the sweat was starting to pour down. Yep. That was just 1 second away. If Moore had just found himself there any bit sooner, even just a single second, would have gotten the kill, maybe even would have gotten the dragon for it. But regardless, he gets away with not only his life and his flash, and he didn't burn anything from that. It was just really good timing on the side of GT. So 2 kills onto Zubin, and as you mentioned, Gimgoon also in good shape. But it's worth mentioning the big CS disparity between LWX to the point that he's probably just equalized the goal difference between those 2 picks. But now we're in the stage of the game with that tower down that we're seeing people roam to different lanes trying to knock down additional towers, and that's where we'll really see NewBee start to shine. Yeah, Zubin and Soulmate right now are playing far too forward, where Corki is nowhere near the mid lane. Xiao Yu also is not really going to be there to help if they do get picked off, so they need to back away. Zubin and Soulmate, even though theoretically there's no one going to be able to pick them off, it's going to be really hard for NewBee to do that. So maybe they're just playing their luck because they're saying, hey, you know what, you don't have Syndra here. There's no way you can actually pick us off or make it harder for us. So this is an interesting rotate where they have Jace in the bottom lane looking to push in, and meanwhile they're looking to put GT in the top side. I think this is actually a call from Game Talents to look for a play. Xiao Yu, the drive-by, picks up that buff for himself, so he'll be on his way out. Blast Plant usage on point from GT, and they're just slowly picking up these small objectives. That hurts a lot, but either way, GT are getting these small objectives, which is nice for them. It's just about now getting that into these skirmishes and seeing if they can actually win out, because that NewBee are still very scary. Yeah, positive point for Game Talents. They're going to maybe look to back away here. The bottom lane, Zubin doesn't have much mana to himself too. That just means that NewBee are going to have the ability to look towards pressing on this tower. They're wasting a bit of time, which is bad for NewBee, because if they continue to press forward with nobody in the lane, that just means that Game Talents actually have an opportunity to head back in, not get punished, and actually look to set up a play with how many wards that they do have,
that might see Gimgoon TPing in.
You just sitting on the outside radius of his tremor sensors, like, I think there's someone here. Yeah, I see them moving. Zubin, large chunk of damage onto him from these piercing arrows. And Swift is thinking about engaging with that ultimate there. He's level 9. Maybe want to start racing towards that. Level 11, big power point.
You can imagine the communication happening here from NewBee, where they're just not too sure how to pressure this one forward. More right now. Oh, here we go.
The classic combination. The Prey Seeker into a pick here, but now that he's essentially blind, Zubin can't land the rest of these shots. So hits the first, but nothing will result from that. So the teams are trying to make these picks happen. They are trying to make the skirmishes open up for themselves, but it's not really coming to fruition for them.
Yeah, and that just makes Game Talent's life a lot harder. They needed that ulti to actually come with a positive result, because now that they don't have that, their ability to create a play doesn't exist. Now NewBee are in a power position. If Coco, I mean, he's pressuring this mid lane consistently. That's just his decision, but he has blue buff. And if he decides to actually rotate topside, that means Zubin and Soulmate are completely shoved out here.
Max range arrow once again. Another one will completely shut him out of defending this lane. Chain of Corruption into the combo from Moore on top of Swift's ultimate. Zubin walks forwards to try and get out of that cone, but he just falls down and support stays alive, but he has to back away. Oh, very close. That was, yep, you probably want to back away from that one, mate.
They're just confident doing it themselves. They don't need no Coco here, and now they're going to be able to chip down this tower. No, this is their tower. Actually, Xiaoyu and Soulmate have no reason to stay here, even though it looks like V, or at least the rest of NewBee are just backing away from the situation. They're fine just taking these passive advantages.
We have gotten to the point in the bottom lane where V is a happy poppy, where he's got the Sunfire Cape, and Gimgoon can't just destroy him anymore, so he's able to hold strong on this tower. Over time, he will chip away and probably take it, but V's not in any danger of dying in the near future.
Yeah, and that's the big point for NewBee. Even though V was in a tough spot before and did die, I mean, Poppy could die how many ever times she wants. If she gets to her item points, if she's able to farm up well enough, then she's in a good position and she can hold. So Gimgoon, even though he had a great early game, it doesn't matter. You're not going to be able to continue to pressure that unless if you can get a good TP play out. But, I mean, Jason TP, it doesn't make sense to me. Oh, here we go.
No, he won't be able to kill him, but he'll be very annoying onto Gimgoon, who will rush away from him. But that kind of just shows the power of that one item power spike on Poppy. It's just extremely strong, and also the power spikes on LWX apparently onto Zubin, who is really feeling in the top lane. And we'll need the help of Soulmate to allow him just to survive the next couple minutes.
And here's the thing about it. I mean, this is 7.1, so remember, going flat. Oh! I mean,
one after another.
I want to finish my point, but it seems like Zubin's going to die before I even do that. So, I mean, going into, like, flat armor penetration, or at least lethality, is going to be really tough for Gimgoon. So he has to deal with a Poppy that not only has that Sunfire Cape, but he also has, of course, the boots of...
okay.
Hello?
Republic just kind of killed Moore in the jungle there, who was just wandering around. And I think that was a package play, actually.
Yeah, had to be.
So we didn't see the start of that one.
Okay,
but
that was interesting.
Yeah. A pick is a pick, I guess. But no, completely jumping on that point where...
Armor boots. Armor boots.
Armor boots,
yep.
Yeah. They don't give armor pen, but they stop armor pen from penetrating them, for sure. But you're looking at a team who are very heavy AD based, you know? So V essentially just has to just go armor, and that's exactly what he's doing. Maybe he just gets a bit of magic resist, but there we see the setup, and it was actually just Republic walking into Moore and murdering him.
Yeah, so Moore didn't have a teammate. I mean, Rumble was there, but Rumble couldn't even stop him, but here we go.
Oh, V's into the top lane, and he's jumping onto Zubin. That's the kill to start this one off, while LWX is chasing down Xiaoyu. Soulmate taken out by Swift. Coco in from the side, give him the old right click, and the 3 kills to NewBee. It just looked too easy.
Yeah, this is just the dismantling. They're not even looking towards getting this turret. They're just looking towards funneling him to the tower to defend it, so they can't defend their lives. So overall, I mean, game talents, they get the mid lane tower, but what does it actually mean? NewBee are just so strong right now. It didn't take them much time before they actually scaled up to a scary degree.
Kind of came out of nowhere after all of that, and yes, Republic gets the pick, and yes, they take the mid lane tower as well as the bottom one to Gimgoon getting it to the carries. But the fact that they are able to punch GT like this is putting them in a bad shape.
Yeah, so Zubin, you know, what can you do, man? He's just, there's no way for him to get out of that situation. LWX is really in such a comfortable spot. And I mean, look at Coco with that long range fear. And the right click. I mean, the R click, yeah, the outplay from that situation. So right now, NewBee are in such a fantastic situation. Even though the kills look 7 of 5, it's just, he's running wild on them.
If he doesn't even care, there's 4 people here, and it's just like, yeah, I'll engage on this by myself, not a problem. I'll just wait for LWX to arrive, slow down Gimgoon. And V will keep on going. I mean, there is literally no point to carry on running after them, but he just doesn't care.
I think it's a good spot to just recognize where they are, continue to chip them down, because right now the mid tower is the big focus for them. And even though right now Syndra's heading towards top, it's because Zubin's out of position. Out of nowhere, he's in the top side of the map when the mid lane needs him.
You just take the tower, but losing this middle lane tower from GT is... I was going to say preposterous, but that's not really the right word, I guess, in this situation. Not good. There we go.
Yeah, not good works.
Eloquent.
Yeah, I guess LWX missed his ulti in the mid lane, so they weren't able to get anything off of that. But that doesn't mean that they... Like, it just felt... They will continue to pressure this. This is a real target here for NewBee. And a big bait for Game Talents. If they continue to hold this, or at least try to, it'll be tough. Especially since right now, V is the one pressuring onto Gimgoon.
Maybe the other way around.
Oh, yeah, he's going to have a tough time. Get him out of here.
This is a long lane now, to the point
flash,
where V will have to use his ultimate. It's down to who can dodge it, and he's probably just dead now. He'll have to flash away. Gimgoon looking for the combo from the QW, who'll flash after him, use two disguise and just bat him away. And pick up the kill. As soon as that ultimate missed, you knew V was dead.
That's that god complex from V, man. He felt like he was doing really well. He was shoving in, and if he continued to do that, he could have walked straight mid. But he should have done that a lot earlier. He just misplayed. He recognized that, you know, Gimgoon, I guess he does a lot of damage. He's a Jace.
Very true. And it's in these long lanes when you're like a tank in this matchup that when you realize that you screwed up, you're still at like 90%, but it's like, uh-oh. I'm going to die. It's going to take a while, but I've screwed up.
Especially since Gimgoon, or at least the Jace, is E, the hammer, I guess the baseball hit. That's why I don't know the names of the abilities like you do. The home run hit does a percentage of damage. So, I mean, that actually does a lot more damage than you think it does.
Oh. Flash, R. You can R, I can R too. Takes out Coco. Zuma will have to flash away, but just get away from this one. Swift will return the kill onto Soulmate. Republic and Zhao Yu still chasing after more, and LWX. They know they can't get involved, but there's a slow field in from the hail of arrows. Gimgoon following after. Republic over the wall. Swift getting chased down. Preyseeker connects and a flash over the terrain from Moore, but now LWX will have to use his own summoner. Gimgoon is still chasing after, connects the Shock Blast, but here comes V. He's looking for round 2, and this is an out of mana Gimgoon to a point where he can turn this one around. Moore somehow picks up the kill of the Make It Rain, and all in all, I think that was a 1-for-2 favor of NewBee.
Yeah. I would say, I think it's a, that was so elongated.
Yeah.
Overall, I think that was in favor of NewBee, because getting V to that spot, even though at the beginning of this, the reason why they were in a bad spot was because V got 1v1'd in the bottom lane. So that's how long this play actually took. V was able to help out, and that was just a great win for them. That just means that right now, NewBee can get back onto the map and can pressure early. I mean, right now you can see the 3-man strong of Game Talents. Corki, Malzahar, and Jin are looking to get back on, but right now, other than, I guess, Swift looking to back just now. Yeah, actually, Swift is backing right now, and Republic has package. I didn't see the package coming through, so actually just feels like Game Talents have a very slim point where they can actually look to pressure.
I think more than anything, that last play demonstrated that, yes, GT still have the tools to pressure, like the Malzahar ultimate picking off a key target. There's like 3 key targets on NewBee, so you can get rid of one, but the rest of them are just going to blast you.
That's fair, and I think the biggest, if you're Game Talents, the biggest win for you is the fact that Malzahar ulti is coming up, and a lot of flashes were actually used in the last one if you're NewBee. So NewBee used like LWX more, and I guess V also had flash down. So looking into this, if they can get one pick, that's all they really need. But this is a big investment that they have to look to capitalize on, or NewBee are just much stronger here.
Republic's package is going to wear off momentarily, and there it goes. It is evaporated, and now V will clear out this mid lane and go back towards the bottom lane. He has to meet Gimgoon. He's the only one who can. I mean, to be honest, a lot of people could, but they want him with the TP as he has that TP advantage. And GT are now clearing out the vision. So honestly, in terms of pressure and vision, GT are doing pretty well.
Yeah, technically, but looking at this V, there's no real rusher V. He's taking jungle camps because he knows he has TP advantage. Meanwhile, Gimgoon cannot participate here. So even though Game Talents have pressure here, it's a bit of fake pressure because NewBee recognize that they can actually regain this pressure. It's up to Jace to actually look to constantly roam with the team, or else they lose a lot.
And even if NewBee get drawn into a fight, it still seems like they'll win out, especially in these choke points with Swift's ultimate. Very easy for Coco to get multi-man stuns. So GT, despite this, will have to pull something out. Baron is risky. Yep, you back away from that one.
Yeah, they recognize that NewBee were starting to just all at the same time move towards them. I was like, all right.
Maybe they think we're here. Yeah.
Need to get a pink ward.
Yes, they do. That ward in the back of the pit. So for now, Republic will go back into the top lane. Push this one out. A lot of recalls from NewBee, but at the same time, so is GT. They saw those recalls going down, so no danger of another Baron rush. And it's back to a moment of calm, 24 minutes in. Again, advantage to NewBee, but I think the goal totals are a little bit deceiving because when it actually comes to these fights and who's strong and we're looking at power points, then NewBee definitely have the momentum.
They do. It's a stronger team fighting for the most part. I think right now what's interesting to me is that Syndra is going towards the Zhonya's next. You would have expected maybe go towards the Void Staff, but there's not a lot of magic resist being built. There is magic resist in the sense that Malzahar is building, he built Aegis, and you see of course the Maw of Malmortius, but he's not really too concerned for that. So going into Zhonya's just for the playmaking, but also the defensive capabilities of it. And so that just means that they have team fighting in their mind.
And GT right onto this Mountain Dragon. I mean, they're going to take this one essentially for free. I don't think NewBee are going to take a tower off it, but it might be putting them into a situation where they can go for an engage just like this from V onto Gimgoon. He's focused them out, but the rest of the lineup will be trying to scatter away from this one. Bullet time comes in. Republic split off to the side. A kill over to NewBee, a second one, and is now chasing down the rest of the members. Swift is actually ignoring Gimgoon. He wanted more. He just needed a hidden one, says V will do that one, courtesy of the hammer. That'll be a 1 for 3. Overall, was not expecting the damage from Gimgoon.
Yep, he actually was able to defend himself quite well, so that means that Swift is down, but that's a 1 for 3 and a tower down. So NewBee are just very comfortable with their team fighting, as they should be, because there's no way that Game Talents, they're so squishy. Look at them 5 strong here. Sure, you have Xiaoyu on that Rek'Sai, but look how much they get burnt by Swift's ulti, and at that point they just have to get out of there, and Republic got zeroed in on. He had to back away. Thank God he had Maw of Malmortius, or it wouldn't have looked good, but LWX trying to reach for that hero play didn't work out. But just look at Gimgoon, was able to get a lot of get the kill there for himself, and even though V was able to finish off that 1 point, I mean, overall NewBee able to take the win.
Again, just emphasizing their strengths in this game, which has opened up to a 5,000 gold lead. That being said, GT are doing a really good job of picking up these neutral objectives to a point where they have 2 Mountain Dragons, which now converts into a very fast Baron take. Swift is in the area. He has Flash. He does not have Equalize. Flash is over, secured by Xiaoyu, and that's going to result in the kill onto Swift.
They have to back away. Yeah,
NewBee don't want this anymore. V is on the front line still. Xiaoyu, the flash, the knock-up onto more. Flash away from Coco, but he's lower mana. He has nothing more to add in his team fight. LWX with the... I was looking at it. I was like, how many targets has that killed? How much damage is that going to do? I held my breath for a second, but actually just a little bit of a tickle, I think, at the end.
Because it hit the champions instead of actual minions. I mean, that's the reason why I would bounce so often. I was like, that's taking a travel. That's going around the world. But yeah, I mean, that was a great play from Game Talents, and they did that. Not only did they have the Earth Dragons, so the dragons stacked up so well in their favor. So they were able to burn down that Baron. And on top of that, I mean, Swift didn't have ulti because of that last fight, so they recognized the cooldowns were still there and available for them in their favor. So they just went for the play, and now that just meant that that's a big lead for Game Talents. The investment in the last fight that they lost actually meant that they can go towards that Baron.
Maybe the fans were right.
Ooh.
Closing up the distance here. Only 2,000 gold in. 3,000 gold in the last couple minutes has been closed up by GT now, as they start to push into this bottom jungle. Lay down the vision, look to rotate between mid lane and bot lane. Interesting that they decide to go this way. I guess it makes sense now that Baron's down, so hope towards that next dragon as well, get that pressure. And they're easily able to take this one away. There's nothing that NewBee can do about it right now. They are not so certainly ahead in terms of team fights to a point where they know they can take it.
This is going to be a really touch and go situation. Game Talents are sure they're in a great position, but they have to watch out for that.
Really nice stun from V, and that will follow up to a pick onto Republic. Now chasing down the rest of the lineup. They've used a lot of their initiates, but Soulmate's still under attack. Gimgoon's going to get a tower in the bot lane for his support dying, so a 2 for 0. But those 2 towers to GT means a net advantage to that lineup.
I mean, yeah, you just have to watch out if you're Game Talents. Sure, you have Baron, you should be able to close it out. You need to respect V. V has a lot of armor and a lot of HP. So overall, he's still a beast, even though you are well enough ahead. But NewBee, I mean, that was a great play from V. They lost their tower in the bottom lane, but that was a necessary trade for them. This is actually really good to see Game Talents come out with this game. I mean, overall, I mean, they were able to take 1 game off EDG, and so that was really a big surprise. But they just need to be able to finish it out. If they can take 1 set, that would mean so much to the team. But they have to work for it.
Biggest thing for me as well as I look towards Coco putting harass down to Xiaoyu is that they've, started to bring in like different players like Soulmate, like actually taking away some of the core members, and they're still making it work. So my initial like qualms with their decision to do this has maybe been alleviated just a little as it is working out for them.
Yeah, Soulmate's been doing quite well for the team right now, and as a whole, it's always risky to just upheave your entire identity as a team. It really is, especially well away from off-season where you're doing it while you're still competing for your lives. And so, I mean, they're in a really tough group. It almost, if they continue down this path, they're going to go into the relegation tournament. I mean, it's only week 3, but you have to have that into the back of your mind, especially since it feels like the team that's the closest to you, the team that's legitimately one place above you, is NewBee.
Yep.
So it's a tough ride for Game Talents, and they're making the decision early to really start to set up these players like Soulmate and Xiaoyu. If they work out, that's a worthwhile investment.
I guess one of the other questions that you have to ask specifically about NewBee, coming off the big momentum wins, facing like the top of the group and teams that had a lot of expectations among themselves, is that do we want more from NewBee? Not necessarily want, but are people expecting more than NewBee, and do we need to see more from them to solidify how good they are? Because NewBee takes those wins over like EDG, but now struggling against GT. So what does this mean for the lineup?
People always have high expectations, and this is going to be new. This is not new for Coco, where they have high expectations for a team. This was the same for Longzhu. They had, and many people have high expectations for that massive stacked lineup, and they just never performed. I mean, this time around, Coco coming into this lineup, especially with their wins over Xiaogu and EDG, of course you're expecting this team to be able to just walk over Game Talents. So right now, this is a loss in the fans of the eyes. I mean, not really. I guess they voted heavily in Game Talents' favor.
They need more fans first off,
Yeah.
but, to gather those fans,
but
for a more competent win.
Expectations was definitely not being hit here, since they are struggling up against Game Talents.
There's a big commitment onto this Dragon, and yes, a couple members start to peel away, but this allows Game Talents to take yet another tower. And that was just, again, heads up, good shot calling. It's just like, all right, they're on this Dragon, which doesn't mean that much at this stage in the game compared to a big tower takedown. And now it's only those inhibitor towers remaining. GT will now look to recall and start setting up, because there is 2 minutes until the next Baron. Elder Dragon also on the docket in around 10 minutes from now.
Yeah, that's a positive trade for Game Talents, of course, but they have to watch out. I mean, the fact that it was an Ocean Dragon is the worst for Game Talents, mostly because they have a good poke in, of course, the Jace, Republic on Corki, and of course Zubin on that Jhin. That's a lot of poke that they do not want to be randomly healed up from this Dragon. So it's technically the worst that they can hope for. I think they would be quite fine with matching Infernal Dragons, or maybe even matching, I mean, they have more Earth Dragons, but they don't want to deal with a team that could just be healing out with no reason. Oh, this is actually fun. Okay, more purchased Edge of Night. So Moore is actually going straight into lethality because, you have a second AD carry here. So I've never seen an AD carry have that much gold income to actually go for that route, but he has it. He's got it going for him.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes we see like, Lord Dominic's Regards or, Executioner's Calling going to Mortal Reminder. At the same time going for something like a Black Cleaver, but I feel like, especially with how not only the item is getting even better past 7.1, but for Misfortune, you want to plant yourself, you want to throw off the bullet time, and literally like the slightest gust of wind can knock you out of it. But with the Edge of Night, it makes it a lot harder to knock her out of it now. Yeah,
and remember that, I mean, with the Caulfield's Warhammer that she does have, she's going to be going into the, you have to believe she's going into the Black Cleaver. So she's going into an outright 80 carry build that we see from Misfortunes. We've been seeing it globally, mostly because of how strong lethality has been. But lethality is still incredibly strong, especially if you're level 12. I mean, it's Coco who's level 17. But once you start gaining up levels and actually reaching parity, it's still as strong as an item as it has been.
Okay. Here's the combo onto Zubin. He'll have to heal away from this aggression in the mid lane, but Swift's ultimate for a heal was not the best trade for NewBee.
Yeah, that's not a good trade at all. Zubin was probably really freaked out, saying, wait, what? Do they know something? I don't. But no, that's actually just a really bad trade overall, and NewBee have to watch out, especially since Republic does have that package.
Maybe he's trying to scare him out of using something else, but Coco call out here, has to go into Zhonya's, but the team now needs to come in. Republic goes down, big damage out for Moore, and that will be Coco surviving. So despite that ultimate going wide from Swift and not hitting the mark, they still get the kill.
Yeah, and Jace is going to be pushed away. So right now, Gimgoon is going to be looking to the opposite side of the map, maybe looking to see if he can get something going, because they cannot win a team fight with Corki down. And so V is just going to, he has full HP, full mana. This is actually a really good position for NewBee, even though they put themselves in that position. Gimgoon!
He should not have stayed around more, and V, maybe he gets this kill in return. He gets the cleanse off, and he's going to go for it. Indeed, he's chasing down more. Comes into the bush, has to flash away. Gets his own in there. No 1v2. Gimgoon yet again gets away with it. I mean, I feel like we just see this too often now.
Yeah, I mean, you got to really run. Oh, wow!
Hello, Zubin. Turning up to play. Blows up LWX. Swift jumping away and actually just starts to take on Red Buff. All right. Coco sees Zhao Yu around the corner, but they decide to back off.
Big play from Zubin. But here comes Gingu with a TP. Not going to do anything, but he's going to push him off. So now real threat is going to be on this Baron. Oh, but Coco, you got to watch out, Gimgoon. Gimgoon watches out for nobody.
He goes in. Look at Coco's damage. He comes down. Gimgoon gets yet another kill, chasing down V. And Gimgoon, this is the player we wanted to see turn to play. And Swift turns around. That's a big ultimate onto those 4 players, preventing the chase from GT. But Gimgoon, pretty much by himself, has turned this game around on a dime.
It actually has. I mean, Zubin came up with the big play to knock down, I believe, Coco. But holy moly, Gimgoon. What happened?
You need to calm down.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, here we go.
Swift over the wall. Republic, look at the damage over the curtain core as well. This last shot, not quite enough to finish him off. But regardless, is Gimgoon, what a hero. Even takes out the Baron for the team. 1v unable to get involved. And yet again, from a game that looked like it had been stabilized by NewBee, has gone back into the favor of game talents.
Yeah, that was an outplay potential. I mean, not even potential. That was an outplay moment for Gimgoon. Not only making that outplay moment happen in the bottom lane, where that should not have happened, but he had sums, he had everything available to him, so he was able to get that going. But look at this. This makes no sense. This looks pretty bad. It's like, all right, just walk away from the man. What is he doing with this TP? But then, so that's why Coco went in. But the stun doesn't hit, and that's a major one. So Gimgoon was able to just turn it on a dime. If Coco hit the stun, that would have been a completely different situation. But it doesn't. He's able to dodge it out, and so like he was able to get the kill for himself.
Honestly unreal. Gimgoon is not only the rock, but like the player on this team who is constantly making these plays in these 1v2s.
He's got to get a payoff.
Yeah, you just need to make sure that you send enough members to make sure he's dead. Because at the moment you send 2 people and they both die or one of them dies.
Looks like 4 is going to be the answer.
Yeah, that will be the core perhaps more. Is he being the bait on the end of the hook for these players? Well, he's caught out. Republic poking away. Right now, no fish are biting.
That's a lot of AoE. That's more has to go back to base.
Recall the bait. Yeah, throw him back to base. And have the rest of the team clear out this minion wave. This tower may actually just go down. Swift may have to ult it if he wants to keep it alive. Chaining Corruption onto Republic. Lots of damage in return. And yeah, he is super dead. Coco coming in here as well. Jump away from Zhao Yu. Yeah, another kill onto Soulmate. Great defense by NewBee, but again, GT getting caught out with this push.
What's happening with game talents? Once again, this is a replay moment where they just get caught out when they have the advantage and they're pulling it down mid. And if you're Gimgoon right now, you're slapping your forehead. You're like, what's happening, team? I was in a good position, and now what have you done?
Throwing away my advantage that I have given towards you.
Oh,
this gift I have bestowed upon you. Zhao Yu and Gimgoon, the 2-man squad, looking towards this Elder Dragon. Going to be a 2-pronged assault.
Actually, a pincer play.
You
can't get away from it.
Is very low. He has to go into the scrap shield. He'll keep himself alive to at least take down the Elder Dragon. Gimgoon almost takes him out. Swift is, look at these side steps.
Kind of has to.
Yeah.
That's actually, that was a really tough position for him, getting, 2-side assault from both Zubin's ulti, but at the same time, Jace's, EQ. So that's impressive. They get the Elder Dragon. That's exactly what they need. Now Gimgoon's in damage control. Hopefully gets that shove out so they can back away. Uh-oh. Don't do this to me, Zubin.
Oh, he's caught out.
He did it to me.
Hit him with right click.
Oh!
He's barely survived. He had to heal. He's still... No, he's good.
Yeah, but the Hex Drinker saved him out too. So heal and Hex Drinker. God bless. He's alive. But don't do that to me again.
Yeah, I mean, only one of 2 things are going to happen though. They R kills him or he somehow ekes away with the rest of his health. He did the second one. Even with the mess up in there as well, I think we can call that one for Zubin.
Yeah, but look at the... I guess here's the real worry to me, is that NewBee, even though they're taking a lot of hits. This is not a good game for them. They're taking a lot of hits to the head. You know, that's the first rule of boxing is just don't get hit.
You seen that Simpsons episode where it's Homer trying to train as a boxer?
Oh, I do remember that.
Yeah. And he just takes a lot of punches to the face. That's essentially what GT was
That's one way to win
doing
matches.
right here. Yeah.
I'm
not sure it is though, because this time it gives more gold over to it and they only get stronger. So.
Yeah, but more is actually just outscaling overall. I mean, the QSSs are coming through for NewBee, and right now more just does a lot of damage. So we're getting to a point where Misfortune ulti actually does something. So this is actually fairly worrying for Game Towns, especially since they don't actually have the answer. They don't have the answer in how to close out the game. I mean, they're getting to a point where they can shove in and hopefully look to get tower, but whenever they get to that inhib tower, they just fall.
They have a fat minion wave in bottom lane that they are going to try and run into this tower. And it's down to Republic. Clear out this wave here with Gimgoon, and they'll do a pretty good job of it. Obviously, there's no Baron buff to help them shove it in. And I mean, if that minion wave isn't going to allow them to take the tower, what will? So NewBee will probably, I can't say back away, but it looks like they're going to do the old death brush tactic. Yeah,
the biggest worry is that if Swift can get his ulti in a perfect position, then that sets up the play very well. I mean, it sets up LWX's next poke. They can continue to pressure forward. I mean, that's a big wave on the top side, but they don't have to worry about it until now.
After all of that, Republic decides to go mid lane and clear out the minion wave while they lose bottom tower. And NewBee do get away with it for this play. And they go back to base, spend some of that well-earned gold. And Republic is on the way to top lane, but he knows the recalling, so he can't ride this minion wave in. He'll just take away the red buff.
Yeah, there's not much he can take here. Maybe a pick. He's going to be looking for it. Now that red buff is down, he's saying, hey, they think that red buff is still up and available. Maybe we can get a pick here. But NewBee have to play safe. There's no reason for him to look into the jungle, especially since both top and mid waves were shoved in. They have no reason to think that this wave, this jungle is theirs.
Both of them forming brushes.
Okay, Mori decides he's going to
farm.
Yeah, he's like, let's get in there.
Yeah, I understand the predicament I am in, so pop this one off for now. And we're back to a bit of a stalemate. And essentially there's no gold in it. We're 41 minutes into the game. It's like 600 gold, which is essentially nothing. And with Baron spawning in 1 minute 30, it is literally anyone's game, and it's down to these setups. Juven is starting to hit pretty hard. Here's a TP from Poppy.
This is going to be good for him. He has... Oh, he can zoom right in there.
He's far away from the team, though. This is a little bit scary, but he's got Courage of the Colossus. That'll take up a lot of the damage. Just turning around with the Malzahar ultimate, and they blow him up instantly. The fourth shot from Zubin is there. Xiaohu doesn't even fall down into his Guardian Angel. Swift is going to fall as well. The fourth shot doesn't quite connect onto Maul, but it's the 2-0 to GT.
And such a bad timing, too, because 50 seconds on the death timer is Swift, and Baron's going to be coming up at 45. They actually might just go for the fight.
You can definitely go for this one. You need to slow down the aggression, and that was good to stop Gimgoon in his tracks for now. Another great stun from Coco. Cleansed out there by Gimgoon at the end, but Xiaoyu comes in from base using the Void Rush and will tank down this tower. Minions be damned. We don't need it. We go onto this inhib, and they'll carry on pushing. 30 seconds left on Swift. V is on 20 seconds. 2 big carries left available for NewBee, but LWX, if he gets called out and dies now, it's all over. Gimgoon taken out by Coco. That is massive. But they also take out the Nexus turret. Republic also falls. Mort's coming out. He's an AD carry in his own right now. LWX back from base. He's going to chase them down. Coco coming in as well. Soulmate will have to sacrifice himself for the greater good. I have to feel, but trades his life with Coco. More in this 1v1 Zubin. He comes out on top in this 1v1 shootout. LWX chasing after, slows himself down, looks for the arrow, comes a little bit short. And after all of that, NewBee stay alive, but it was precarious for a second.
Yeah, tension's getting real thin right here, where Zubin, I mean, he's still alive. That's going to be great. That's Zubin and Xiaoyu still up and available. And they have enough towers to hold them through, but that's Baron. They actually could have just went straight for Baron and went for the play later on, but it feels like they just don't have trust in it themselves for those plays. They are rushing in. That means NewBee are going to actually able to save the game, and now they're going for Baron.
But it's not going to melt fast enough. They probably will have a chance for Xiaoyu to potentially contest this. Juven's going to provide fire support as well. He's going to be changed up. They will actually turn their attention towards him and go back onto it. What an ultimate. The Keeper's verdict will keep him out of the fight. And it's all men back to base. LWX caught out. Xiaoyu finds the knockup. He jumps onto Swift as well. Zubin, he needs to reload. And he finds the timing on the Zhonya. So good from Swift as he jumps away. He gets slowed down. He needs to make his way out of the scrap shield. He needs more energy to come out. But he slows him down to Electro Harpoon. And Xiaoyu feeling pretty unhappy that he didn't go through that tunnel. It was a little too far on the dash. So, sad days for Xiao Yu, but in the end, NewBee pick up the Baron. And this game has just gone back and forth too much, right?
Yeah, and that was just a really tough situation for Xiao Yu and Zubin. They don't have the damage to be able to get past V, and of course, Swift. I mean, he's fairly tanky himself right now. He has a lot of HP to his name with both the Liandry's and the Rylai's. They're in a position right now where they need Republic to stay alive. They need Republic and Gimgoon to stick up because there's such a big front line in V. And V, the reason why he just outright got demolished is because he was alone. And if you're alone up against 5 members and you don't have any damage trading out, your effectiveness is nil. So that's why right now both teams can actually take out this game. It really is up in the air. It's all up to V to be able to get to tank the right damage. If he goes in once again up and alone, then that should be Game Talents taking it away. But it's a mechanic off.
It is. It's a mechanic off. You hit the nail on the head essentially with that statement alone, but it's getting to the point where we're looking at one team fight for a win. One team fight, push down mid, the game finishes. And while there's a slight advantage maybe to GT because they have those structures already down, they have those Earth Dragons picked up and available. They lose enough people, NewBee going to shove it down mid and finish the game. So it's now NewBee who have this advantage pushing in these minion waves, but they're only pushing in one. They didn't set up the side waves.
Yeah, and the Shock Blast, they're just not doing enough. So at this point in the game, even though they are technically in an advantage, they just need to get one more win in the team fight. But really, if you're looking at his Shock Blast, it has to hit MF, who has Edge of Night. He has to hit Varus, who has Edge of Night. He has to hit maybe the Rumble, who's not on it, who's fairly healthy. So even if he takes that one Shock Blast, he's going to be okay for the next team fight. So it's really getting closed out for Gimgoon, and he's going to have to really, if he wants to do the damage, get into melee range, and that's going to be really scary with Coco alive. So they have to deal with Coco. If they can deal with Coco first and foremost, then it's going to be an easier fight for them. But if he can't get the setup that he's looking for, either get a stun on Zubin or on Gimgoon, this is going to be hard.
This is a fantastic ultimate and a start to a fight from Swift, but LWX has to back off immediately, and Swift is caught away from his team. Goes into the Zhonya's just in time. V arrives into the right. The cavalry has arrived just when he needed to. Locks up Soulmate, takes out Gimgoon. The big carry of the team is down, and Juwin doesn't have a front line to deal any more damage. Morin's 1v1 against Republic, and actually zones him away. Swift is in a precarious position, but it's a 2-for-0 so far by NewBee.
This is going to be good for Game Talents because they stalled out the game. Even though they lost the fight, Republic is stalling out for him as much time as possible to allow for Gimgoon and Soulmate to come back up.
Unfortunately, that is not his base, and he will be thrown to the wolves.
He wasn't able to find him, so even, I guess, Republic goes down, and Misfortune is able to back away because, you know, he was standing still.
Yeah, he was playing battleships right there, and he did not pick the right space, unfortunately. Zubin will get a second red buff, so I mean, he's got that going for him, which is nice. But NewBee, again, advantage over to them. Baron buff is about to wear off shortly, but these fights are starting to go over to them. And that was GT fighting in a choke point where Swift opens up the opportunity with Equalizer.
Yeah, now the question is if NewBee's feeling lucky because they are going to be doing a lot of damage to this. All of them are essentially damage dealers. And there's 30 seconds on Republic. They should just take the inhib and back away from this one. Actually, they're feeling a little safe. You know, they're just going to back away on this one. It looks like they're waiting for the next wave, which makes this a little bit riskier.
Yeah, it's a 4 versus 4 until Misfortune arrives, but V is enough of a tank line to allow that backline to get there. Even going to throw down the Equalizer to zone them away. Just be safe. Better safe than sorry in this one, especially with Elder Dragon spawning. And NewBee, as I said, play it safe.
Yep, they're going to have to do that. They don't want the same situation that Game Talents had much earlier on where they were going for that win and got completely wiped. So it's a really tough situation for both teams. NewBee are playing this safe one. They know that Elder Dragon's coming up, and they're going to look for a pick. Ooh. Catch him out.
Got you. Found you. Found you in the bush.
They're just sitting there as if that means anything.
Playing hide and seek at the moment.
Wait, was that actually stolen? No, never mind. I thought that was stolen by Rex IQ. So that's fine, that's fine. Scuttle Crab still goes towards NewBee.
Yeah, it's a red one, for sure.
Okay.
I can see you peering, but definitely red. Moore gets caught by that Shock Blast. Again, one of the only members that's really going to cut from that. And this is like, yeah, Edge of Night brings that one up. And Xiao Yu, he's getting slowed down. That's lots of damage onto what should be the tank. And look at the damage out for Moore. The Misfortune ultimate forces away Soulmate and Zubin. They have to back away. Xiao Yu did not have to pop his Guardian Angel, but at the very least, he's taken out of the fight, so the jungler cannot contest this.
Yeah, and there's no tunnels in the area for him to actually come back on. There's one that's fairly far back, so here we go. They're going to back away because of Jhin ulti.
So that was nice, at least. The cut call will finally connect onto Swift with the last bullet. but there's no reason for them not to start re-engaging on this, because they could find another fight. Twit has that equalizer, and V is off to the side, as you can see him. He just wants to launch himself onto anyone. The flash from Soulmate, they want to blow him up immediately. Moore's over the wall, but remember, he doesn't have his ultimate anymore. Swift is chasing down Zhao Yu, but V is still alive somehow. That Poppy is absurdly tanky, but GT are so injured, they will have to back off.
Yeah, that buckler was a little bit much, because look how much HP right now that V has. Not only HP, but the full resistances from him. That buckler really saved his life. So that was that one condition that GT needed to get this game win. If they can take out the tank line, if they can take out V, then it really is an open game for them. But they were close to doing it. They were very close, but they could only take out the flash because this man lived on an inch of life.
This is one of those games where I not only want to see the damage graph, but the damage taken graph, just to see what V's been doing this game, because he's essentially been a massive meat shield that's been unkillable. And now, once again, Dragon being started more, backs off. He's still alive, but has to be a little bit careful how he plays this. Dragon down to 4,000, it's now resetting. Zhao Yu doesn't really want to be in the pit anymore, but Tunnel will be coming up shortly. Republic maintaining the war of attrition. Yeah. So is Zubin.
It's a poke war until Soulmate finds his soulmate. Oh, unless if they go for a committal here.
To Dragon, it's secured by Swift in this one. Can they get the engage off? Chain of Corruption onto Zhao Yu. Makes his way out with the tunnel. And for now, NewBee back away, and as do Game Talents. There is a big minion wave in the middle lane that has to be attended to.
Now that's the big point. What does this mean? It means that NewBee can actually go towards this Baron and secure it. Right now, GT have to either go towards saving their inhib, or at least their Nexus turrets, which they need to do, or contesting this Baron. If they lose this Baron, they lose the game. So they have to look to try and contest or shove them off.
They're hovering around, but they just don't know of any of those bushes or death brushes, because they have literally zero vision, so they have to give this one up. They did save those Nexus turrets at the very least, but as Baron once again over to NewBee. Have you been keeping track? How many Barons have we had this game?
Oh,
3,
I'm not
4?
even. I've lost all sense of control.
There's been too many, and not on the same team either, so
yeah,
definitely traded over.
But that's Elder Dragon, that's Baron, 50 minutes into the game. This is NewBee. They have such a massive lead. Just look at Coco right now. He has full HP, and he is so stacked with AP. So if he gets one person on a pick, it's lights out. That buckler did no damage.
No, no, it did not. He's not really built any damage, and he didn't go towards Iceborne Gauntlet, which you often see on Poppy. He's just decided to go the route of unkillable Poppy. With all of these defensive items, for now, GT are able to clear out these minion waves, but it will not last forever, as mid lane needs to be tended to, and that will be done by Gimgoon on this rotation. Actually, Republic takes the mantle.
Yeah, it was a good timing for Republic to be able to get that package, so he's able to actually stall out. He can even use his W, there we go, to just stop the Baron. I mean, it's not going to take that much damage from the wave, so we're going to have to see if they can stop.
They just need to get these AD carries to walk up and just tap the tower.
Yeah, but there's never a situation.
Cannot, yeah.
It's actually really hard for this team to crack it open. What needs to happen, I mean, if V had actually built towards that Iceborne Gauntlet, as you mentioned, they could have actually tried to open it up a little bit, but now they're forced into a 5v5 situation. And the farther in you push the enemy team with Poppy, the less effective your ulti is. Because, I mean, if you're going into these inhib turrets, if you ulti him, yeah, you send him straight to base, but he can come right back, especially with Republic when he had his package. So it's a tough call for this team now. So that just means Elder Dragon's off. They couldn't really get much except for that one tower. And Baron should be coming off fairly soon. So it's already halfway down. So if they're just resetting now, they're just resetting tempo entirely.
Yeah. I just feel like we've gotten to one of those games that honestly it maybe shouldn't have gotten to in the first place between GT and NewBee, honestly, here, Raz, because we came in, we set the narrative, we were like, you know what, NewBee come in as the favorites, clearly against GT. Look at the Titans they've managed to topple already in week 3. But GT with these swap-ups, you know, seeing Soulmate come in instead of Savoki, and somehow this is still happening through maybe not even just the mistakes of NewBee, but GT being proactive in some cases and getting those advantages and getting those picks, and honestly creating a lot of more of a messy game than I think we should have seen.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Zhao Yu, if we were looking at the newer players here for the team, Zhao Yu's bot lane gank really did open it a lot, where they could have been really just taking it from Varus, just a bot lane matchup. Now, they still had a tough time, but it was a lot easier for them, an easier loss in that bottom lane. Meanwhile, Gimgoon is just outplaying time and time again. Ooh, it's a lot of damage coming out of V. With that being said, Here we go.
Curtain call. He wants to slow someone down. Yeah, V immediately takes the position where he can get in front of LWX. Had one of those bullet lands landed. It may have spelled at least the end of one of his summoners. An Elder Dragon. We could even see a third one in this game, which would be unprecedented.
This is a good position for Game Talents, even though NewBee are in a good, solid spot if they do get a catch. Look at that top lane wave. That is massive, and someone has to deal with that. So right now, Game Talents, if they can clear out and defend the inhib that they currently have, I mean, right now they're in a good spot. They reset pressure overall. They can actually come back into the map and find even ground.
And in terms of, situations to like weather, stopping NewBee from taking that top tower when they had an inhib down and they had Baron was like almost as worse as it can get. Maybe you can add like a Baron plus an Elder Dragon on top of that, but that's as far as it goes until we get to maximum items. We're getting to the point where V's even like selling items, reconsidering what he wants to buy. He's picked up a Knight's Vow right now, so people have enough gold to actually like sculpt exactly what they want from these item builds. And NewBee still aren't able to crack the base.
Yeah, what's really scary if you look at NewBee, because they have a full, like, Misfortune is basically an 80 carry. Not even basically, just actually a full.
An ADC,
yeah, she's a full Misfortune 80 carry here. And then we look at the jungler, just full AP items. So there's so much damage coming out of NewBee. Meanwhile, like, the tanking capabilities, the GA just got finished up by V. So they are so strong as a team that they should be able to force this out. And it's going to be really hard for Gimgoon. I mean, once the Jace gets to this point in the game where he has to hit priority targets along with Jin and Corki, if they can do that, that's fine. But that's a really tough ask, especially since V is going to be positioning himself to really just be that Vanguard and take as much damage as possible.
It's one of those situations as well where I look to a team like GT, and actually playing a playstyle like playing not to lose isn't a bad playstyle to go for, when NewBee have demonstrated that they will make mistakes that can be capitalized on. So GT, they play that game. If they see an opportunity, get the pick, push it in, see what they can do, and maybe find this game, because multiple of those situations have arisen in this game, which has allowed them to get to the point where they've opened up an inhib, opened up to the point where they have one Nexus turret left available for NewBee. So
yeah,
it's still a strategy that could work out for them.
And a lot of these play potentials coming from Republic could have paid off. So for instance, he went on, in one of those team fights, he went on to Coco, he went on to LWX to see if he can get that lucky crit. Now he has a lot of crit. So that's something that he could have worked for him. And so if he keeps going for it, I mean, one of these plays is going to work out. He's going to get that package. And so the big question is, if these plays work out, and if they can blow up LWX, or really anybody, I guess they're all carries at this point in the game, then these are plays that Game Talents need. And the thing is, they're looking for it. That's what's really surprising to me, because, as you said, looking for playing defensively and looking to hopefully have NewBee essentially make an error. That's nice, but that's not what Game Talents is doing. For the most part, they're actually just constantly looking to make these plays happen, and that's what we should be seeing from Game Talents. They've needed to be looking as proactive as we've seen them in this game. I mean, proactive in 57 minutes don't exactly go hand in hand. But, I mean, essentially, they've made a best out of a bad situation.
And this has also turned into one of those games here, Raz, where, I mean, like, it could just literally go anyway. Like, it stops coming down into tactics and it's just like, let's throw each other, into a fight, and it's just like, see who comes out on top.
What's fun about this is that we have the Sheen procs coming out of Republic, and of course, like, every single one of these members on Game Talents can actually just look to make that one last shot for the game, right? Because that one Nexus Tower is the only one open. So if NewBee have to look for the fight, because if they look to maybe push out a lane, if they get faked out, they can actually just lose their base.
Well, NewBee were trying to make the engage happen in mid lane, but they were seen out. And the point I remember that I wanted to say in the first place was that this game could go on either for 2 minutes or 20. This is one of those games that could go on indefinitely until someone pulls the trigger.
How does it feel coming from EU?
Pretty similar, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm used to these situations until someone gets caught like this. We'll have to burn that one summoner, but it's now blocking these bullets that are raining in from Zubin. Damage control, success, but will this be GT now committing onto Baron?
And at this point of the game, exactly. That's the only thing they really get off of that is positioning on Baron, where they're really pulling in a lot for this Baron position. Now we're going to come out with the good old 50-50, but they're just going to back away because they think they have the fight.
But do they? V,
Oh!
he's getting stared down. He'll go down to the Guardian Angel
Oh,
for
that
sure.
Rumble
But
ulti.
look at the ultimate from Swift. Gim over the wall. He needs to make a big play happen. He assassinates one. He'll get the second onto Swift as well before he jumps over the wall. He keeps himself alive, but he's cornered. In fact, by Zubin. Lands the follow-up. Gimgoon, he's being scared about this, but Zubin's dealing the damage that he needs to. This tide quickly turning the way of GT. Getting scared for a second. LWX looking at V as well without that Guardian Angel. I'm holding my breath because now Baron could well go over to GT.
Yeah, it's going to have to. I mean, at this point, Game Talents could either play that risky game, every single one of us are blinking red HP bars, and maybe we go for the win. But Coco is way too strong, and we saw what he can do if you try to end that game. So right now, this is perfect for Game Talents. I mean, they could have gotten much more out of it, but that is as good as you can get. They get a Baron and a second chance to take this win.
We're about to hit 60 minutes on the clock, and I'm pretty sure that's our longest game so far of the split.
Oh, that's probably true.
To be honest, we'll probably hit it a long time ago.
I'm surprised I'm actually pretty lively out of this one. I'm gonna blame the tea for this one.
The chocolate licorice tea.
Oh no, no licorice
the other one
on
was
this one.
It was just chocolate.
Yeah,
tea.
you're trying to tilt me right now. That's what you're trying to do.
Yep. Put the image of licorice in your head.
Oh,
Here comes Coco.
the worst.
You think those are licorice balls that he's floating? Who knows? Everything could be licorice.
I just don't want to go to sleep tonight and only see licorice. That's what I don't want to see right now.
Dreaming of licorice. Well, GT are dreaming of a dragon that they are on our way towards. And the situation that we carved out for NewBee, where they had not only an Elder Dragon, but a Baron, is now on the side of GT. So if they cannot finish here,
I mean,
then we're in for another long one.
We've already seen them trying to finish or at least take inhib twice and absolutely get wiped from this point. So Game Talents, hopefully they recognize the error of their ways last time around. It's going to be a little easier. They should just be playing patiently. That's actually it. If Republic can get an ulti, turn that into a Zubin going for a W. That's all you have to do right now, and just go off of Zubin, hopefully hitting skill shots. Otherwise, you actually just can't get into anybody here.
And this game just reminds me of Edge of Tomorrow, where both teams, and it seems like they get back to this point, they have to reset, go back to the same situation again, reset because it didn't work, go back to the same situation, and finally maybe they've mapped out enough for them to finish off the Nexus, but who knows? Maybe it's just another reset. We honestly just don't know. It comes down to how many players drop, because if the vital members drop from NewBee or GT, it could spell the end of this eternal loop that we find ourselves in.
Ooh, this is really tough. There we go. This has to be it. This is going to be able to get them. But oh, that was really solid from V.
Yeah, V finds it, but actually Soulmate uses ultimate here onto V. I'm not sure if that was the best usage there, and that's a big ultimate down for them. Top lane was being pushed in by Gimgoon.
Swift is
That was
really
a good play
low.
from him. Yeah, low health on those big carries, especially Coco. Xiaoyu wants to get that knock onto V. Remember, he does not have that Guardian Angel. He needs to not die here. He gets back to base, but the base has been once again cracked. Middle lane inhibitor down. Top lane inhibitor down. GT, 5 members strong. They look to recall.
This is going to be good for Game Talents, and this is why. This is usually, you know, at this point, 62 minutes into the game, you're like, I don't trust you, GT. How are you going to mess this up? I mean, I was about to say he had TP. He could have actually played that long con and TP top while pressuring bot. He's closed that option altogether. This is going to be an all-in for this bottom lane tower.
Oh, Coco caught out, but there's no long range follow-up for now. Trying to clear out this minion wave is going fairly well for them. It was mostly caster minions rather than melee, so at least there are small mercies for NewBee. They need to take out these cannon minions, though.
And thank God Republic has rapid fire. Look at him pacing back and forth because he can actually poke when he has time. He just needs to be going back and forth. There we go. Get that one auto because he does so much damage. Hopefully it's a Sheen proc auto. That would be nice. And I mean, LWX, he took damage. It's not enough, but yeah, it's enough for him to walk in to get a few hits. So this is a game that they're going to go playing again and again and again until they can take this tower, until they can take the inhib.
It's gone.
Oh!
Not in this push. Well, on the next one maybe. But they have to deal with these minions in the top lane and the mid lane, because look at that. Yeah, assist pings come down. Someone needs to deal with this mess.
That was a random floor.
That was the floor. The floor is even excited and distressed at this game and how it's gotten so far. Here comes the curtain call. Second one lands onto more. It's just zoning away right now from the inhibitor. 3 down. GT, I pray that you just play this slow, because you have double supers in every single lane. Close this out smart, close it out slow.
There's no way they can lose this, and as I say that, we're going to have to go into that one last team fight. that V has to start, but LWX does not have HP.
He's caught away again. The ultimate used on V there from Malzahar. Swift following after. He's used the ultimate. He's chasing them down. Chain of Corruption does not land. V on the front line, zoning them away. Soulmate's low, as is Republic in terms of mana. Gimgoon still has that Guardian Angel. They're pushing it in. They're pushing it in slow.
This is
they
good
need to
for
make
Game
this
Talents.
cold. They need to make this calculated.
Don't back away. Get in there, Game Talents.
Keep it up. Keep up the pressure.
As long as they can
suspend.
They only have to focus on LWX and Coco. Coco can't get his stun off, and LWX can't get a poke off. If that happens, then it's over for Game Talents. They're just going to back away.
Coco's going to walk up to them and angrily Zhonya's. Send a message over to them. He doesn't have that one anymore, but he sent a message. GT will back off seeing that Zhonya's down. I will reconsider their life choices.
He's like, you know what, we did enough to it today, guys. Let's back away.
Yeah.
We're good. We even got the scared Zhonya's off of Coco. But overall,
no, you're in a best of 3. You need to finish this off. You have 2 more games potentially to play.
potentially. But yeah, I mean, this is great for Game. I keep saying it's great for Game Talents. I mean, it's always going to be great for them. They just need to face that scary wolf. That's a team fight comp from NewBee. NewBee actually faced that exact same comp. Remember, it was last split. NewBee went up against ADG, took 3 inhibs, went to the Nexus Tower, and lost the game. Or at least, and so they don't want to find themselves in the same position. Or at least Game Talents don't want to find themselves in position. NewBee actually wants to be able to take this win. So.
Yes, sir. That is the play. That is what they want to come out of this one.
Here we
Double
go.
supers in the top lane and the bot lane. Mid lane did get cleared away by NewBee. What can they do from here? V is stopping Xiaoyu in the push in the bottom lane. Soulmate is assisting with that. That's the Nexus turret down. A fight has to happen. The initiative needs to come up from NewBee. They're locking down V, dropping him into that Guardian Angel. He does have it back up, I believe, but they did just lose Swift in the back lines, and surely this should be the win now. Just go on to the Nexus, lads. You don't need to go for the fight. And there it is. GT finally in a 65-minute game slugfest take game 1.
Woo! All right, that's one way to open up this series. You know what? Demoralize the enemy team. Take them on the long run. You know, saying, you know what? We're going for
Tire
a
them
ride. Oh, wow. All right, Game Talents. This is what you're supposed to
you.
do. I mean, this is the long con game. You know, tire everyone else in the audience, but they got it. And so look at that massive gold swing in the opposite direction. So, yeah. So
I felt every one of those peaks and troughs, Raz.
Yeah, felt it deep down
in my bones. But look at the gold at the end of that game, like almost 120,000 on both teams, and it just got to the point where gold stopped mattering, and it was just down to that last team fight, and we said that for a good 30 minutes. And GT and NewBee, like, absurd damages across the board, but it wasn't so much about that. It was about the team play. It wasn't about those individual performances as much.
Yeah, and so the damage was evened out throughout NewBee because they were all real threats. And so Game Talents, I mean, just look at Gimgoon. Honestly, Zubin, this was his best performance yet. Hey. So, but yeah, Zubin, that was actually his best performance yet, where he was able to come out with the win in a lot of ways. I mean, there are so many moments. How's it going? So there are so many moments where he was able to get that last 4th bullet to be able to make a play. And we've never thought of Zubin as a playmaker, but this was the game where we were able to see that side of him.
It was all the components coming together, I think, in the end of that one. And that was just cool to see from Game Talents. They got to the point where they just kind of made it work from them. And that's something we weren't really expecting from, I guess, GT, because coming into this matchup, I mean, NewBee, I mean, we're a team who like have taken out EDG. They've like teams who have taken out a lot of big teams. So
yeah. So I mean, that's really what it came down to. I think for the most part, this is fun. This is real fun. I think looking into this game specifically, I mean, I obviously don't want another few games where it goes down to 60 minutes. But what you do want is now Game Talents looking at that game. It was really fire. You see, honestly, the Soulmate and Xiaoyu, their jungler, having a pretty good showing. I think that was the best I've seen in terms of the early game from that Rek'Sai, Xiaoyu. So, I mean, we've only seen 2 games from him. Yeah. But that was still really fantastic.
I think in the end, though, you kind of have to look at that game and look at that matchup, and it's just like, what did NewBee do wrong in the early game that led them to that point, or at least in the mid game as well? Because when you get to a game like that, you can have almost any team to a certain point in professional play where you know that they're going to get to a point where they can out-mechanic the enemy team, right?
Yeah.
It becomes that more of a 50-50 rather than we are controlling the map. We're controlling the macro. We control the pace of this game. So they got dragged into that type of game. So I still feel like NewBee are the superior team in that sense, but they should never let themselves get to that point, and that's where you can see the good points of GT shine.
Yeah, and I mean, even though for a lot of people looking at a 60-minute game is a bit of a stretch, you know, a bit exhausting, that really was what it came down to. Game talents, that was a situation where you saw them come to a point where, you know, suddenly the 1v1s, the 2v2s, like the actual mechanical outplays really did matter, where that one pick could really win the game for them. Even though we saw a lot of team play question marks with the team, we were like, you know, at NewBee, this is a team where we see them playing better as a unit. But we didn't see that this game, especially as the game dragged out. That was just out the window. Take it out of here.
And can we just talk about Gimgoon for a second?
Yep.
What a monster. I mean, like, so many plays.
Oh! You know
Get out of here, Zubin. It's all about Gimgoon because, man, Gimgoon would literally, like, a lot of those plays brought the entire team into this one. Yes, Zubin played well. Yes, he had good positioning. We even spoke about his ultimate and how he's setting it up. But for me, the real hero was Gimgoon.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta give this man some light. You know, this guy had, even though for a long, long time Zubin has been, I guess, the Achilles heel in a lot of ways for this team. Give this man at least some credit. I mean,
2v1 outplays.
Yeah.
He had crazy fights, you know, in these team fights as well. Individual plays.
He
Like,
really
I feel
turned
like
up,
you could make a highlight reel just out of this one game from Gimgoon.
Yeah. Gimgoon.
Gimgoon.
Like Gimgoon.
Gimgoon.
Yeah, Gimgoon.
It's just like the same like romance that me and Frostguren had yesterday about Imp, and it's just like, but at the same time, Gimgoon.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like, what a player.
I wish we can just see highlight of Gimgoon's plays, because there was legitimately one moment where he was smacking Poppy on the opposite side, man, getting that 1v1, and then goes mid, was able to outplay Sidra. It's like, it was pretty fantastic with Gimgoon.
And he can prove that he can play that Jace as well, which is cool to see in the top lane. Either way, we're going to send it to a quick break before we head to our second game here in our best of 3 on our last one of the day between GT and